What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Country Bunkers Trains, and welcome to another update on the new O-gauge layout. Been making some good progress the past couple of weeks. Figure we hit a good stopping point to check out what's been going on. Let's jump right into it. The first thing isn't so much a layout update, but more so a train room update. I went out and picked up the new Lionel Base 3 system, and this is now controlling both of our layouts. I did a community post on this the other day, and a lot of you guys were asking me questions and my thoughts and opinions on it, and maybe we will do a video on this in the future. But for now, I'm still learning it myself. I haven't even had it a week yet. I'm still getting my feet wet and getting used to it. I will share a couple first or initial thoughts on this new system. Starting out, hooking this thing up to your layout or layouts is super easy and straightforward. If you've ever dealt with a Lionel command system in the past, TMCC or the 990 system, you'll have zero issues hooking this thing up. It's the exact same setup. You got a power cord to plug in, a wire to run to your negative or outside rails of your tracks, and an antenna to hook into the back of this system. I am very happy that Lionel decided to go ahead and include an external antenna on this system. Originally, they were talking about keeping just an internal antenna, but I'm glad they have the external antenna. Even here in my small train room, my 990 system that had an external antenna as well proved to have some trouble with signal in certain spots, and because of that, I'm actually running an aftermarket antenna. You can see it up here. It's kind of like an old CB antenna for a car. It has a magnetic base, but I got it stuck to the curtain rod up here. You can see it right here. And then the cord comes down the wall and runs under the layout to the system. And this has cured all my issues. This gives me a lot better signal between both layouts. And the good news is the Base 3 utilizes the same type of antenna port or antenna jack to plug into. So if you too are running an aftermarket antenna with your 990 system, it too will plug right in and work with the new Base 3. Now I am running this in the most basic form or way that it can. I don't have this hooked up to our Wi-Fi system yet. I have our network switch switched up to AP or access point. This has the base sending out its own Wi-Fi signal to connect your smart device to control your trains, rather than having it connected, like I say, to your home Wi-Fi system. I do want to get this hooked up to our Wi-Fi eventually. This way it can do its automatic updates and we can get all the fancy stuff on the app that comes along with it. But for now, I'm just running it in its most basic form, and it seems to be working great. I know a lot of people have been having issues, having some complaints, but I can't really say I've had any, which is kind of surprising. You guys know my track record with Lionel. This thing's been working flawlessly right out of the box. I'm real happy with that. I've been using the app and playing around with it and trying to get comfortable with it, and I gotta say, it's actually a lot better than what I was anticipating it to be. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm still super happy to have my 990 remote. I will continue to use this until it dies. I prefer it. What can I say? I like the feel of the remote, and I'm comfortable and used to the remote. Not that there's anything wrong with the app per se, but I just prefer the remote. But like I say, I have been trying to play with it and get used to it. And I do got to give big kudos to one thing with the app I'm really impressed with, that Lionel's needed very badly for quite a while. But in the app, if you click on the engine menu, I guess it's called. Sorry, I'm still learning this. But yeah, if you pull up the engine menu, no longer do you have to remember every address that you assign to all of your equipment. You just click on that menu and it brings up all the engines that you have loaded up into this base, and you can scroll through it, pick the engine you want to run without having to remember that ID address number, and it's good to go. Big kudos to Lionel for this. That was something that was needed very, very badly, in my personal opinion. People have told me you can do this somehow on this remote here. I haven't figured it out. But yeah, like I say, super cool to see that on the app. Kind of like with the MTH DCS remote, how all your engines are in line and you can just scroll through and pick. Same type of scenario. Now, I do have one small complaint, or a bit of constructive criticism, if you will. And I'm going to be honest, this is probably going to sound completely silly and maybe even a little bit petty, but it is an honest thought and an honest opinion of mine. So here on the front of this base, this thing has all kinds of lights built into it. This thing will light up like a Christmas tree when you first turn it on. The L turns on, lights up. You got all these bars that light up. Like I say, it just puts on a Christmas show. Now, the bars light up for many different reasons, to show what mode you're running it in, whether it be Bluetooth, through the app, or through the remote. It'll also blink when troubleshooting or throwing an error code, all kinds of stuff. You guys get the point. Now, when you're connected to this thing through the app, the Lionel L lights up, and I feel like you get a little bit more of a show with the app. But when you're using the remote, it doesn't even look like it's on. This is it. It doesn't look powered up, does it? Here. That's all you get. Yeah, sure, it's showing that, it's getting a signal or receiving a signal from the remote. But yeah, besides that, this thing doesn't even look like it's on. Sure, you got the lights on the side, but can barely see those. Now, I understand, this is really intended and meant to be used with the app. But come on, Lionel. I've spent the money. Hell, I've spent the money twice. I have the 990 system. I now have the new Base 3. Give me a lit up orange L here on the front. I'd love to see that. I mean, that's train porn. That's eye candy. That's something I want to see here on my little command shelf or command center. The best way I can equate this to, I know we got a bunch of gearheads here on the channel. When you buy a fancy or expensive new part for your car, when that part comes in the box, what do you get? You get a nice little sticker with that part or piece that you bought. And don't lie, we all turn into little 5-year-olds when we get that sticker. We're all excited. Where are we going to put this, Where are we going to show this off? Well, as silly as it sounds, it's the same thing here. I want to see that orange L lit up here next to my ZWL. Like I say, just a bit of train porn or eye candy. But yeah, that's it. That's my only complaint. Like I say, I know it sounds pretty silly, but yeah, if that's the only complaint I have, I'm more than happy with this. It's been working good, and hopefully it continues to work good, and it proves to be a good future purchase. But let's move on. Carrying on, another item that isn't really a layout update either, but it does lead into the new layout. You can see we finally got a bridge going up over here. How many years has it taken? Not only do we got a bridge going up, but you can see we're reutilizing pieces off of our old red bridge that used to be on the old layout. Very, very nice. I know a lot of you guys were asking what I was doing with that old bridge. As you can see, we're reutilizing it and repurposing it in other areas in the train room. Definitely wasn't going to throw this stuff out. This stuff's expensive, man. I think I got almost $1,000 wrapped up into it. Now, I did have to pick up a new sheet of MDF board to make this new bridge and make new supports for the bridge. I do want to get this thing painted, but we've been dealing with that tropical storm outside, and it's just been raining and super muggy and humid. Not really good conditions for painting, but once I get some drier weather, we'll get this outside and get it painted up. All right, let's move on with the star of the show, the actual new layout itself. Starting out towards the front here, you can see I've been playing around with some of our buildings and accessories up here, getting a feel for it and trying to do a little bit of a mock-up of a layout of where we might put stuff. And I don't know, I'm not really sold yet. None of this is really set in stone. Like I say, just playing around with it. To give you an idea, like with this mountain scene, which we'll get to here shortly, I'm really digging going after more of the landscaping type of thing, or the landscaping side of things. Having nice hills and trees and scenery, that kind of stuff, with a couple tastefully placed buildings and accessories. I'm really liking that. I think that looks a lot more realistic and a lot more scale and just a whole lot better in my personal opinion. I don't want to do all that type of stuff back there and then flood the front of the layout with a bunch of stuff. I just don't think that would look good. That would kind of look a little bit tacky. So yeah, I'm just getting a feel for it. The only thing that is 100% for sure are Menards door warehouse or factory. This will be going right here. That is set in stone. That's where that's going to go. And the other thing I believe that will be going up is this little house scene over here in this corner. Not 100% sure yet. I might try and build another hill going up into this mountain because we're going to have that bridge going across right here. So I'm not 100% sold on that, but I'm pretty sure that's where that house is going. And I also know the diner will be going up here somewhere. That's no ifs, ands, or buts. That is going to get up here. Woodland Scenics just announced a cool little set. It's a little hotel set. That's going to find its way to the layout. I'm thinking it can go up here. The only thing I'm not really sold on are these buildings up here, the little city block. I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling them or not. What do you guys think? This might look better once I pick up my other building flat back here. That might make it tie in and look a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments below. Speaking of building flats, we got our beautiful warehouse flat building here from the guys over at East Coast Enterprises or trainlayouts.com. This will be this building's final placement. That is where it's going to go. And our man Tony over at Roundhouse South Trains hooked me up with a cheap HO DC transformer to get this thing powered up. And man, doesn't it look good? Yeah, this thing looks great. This does need 9 volts of DC power to power the lights. And being an O-gauge guy, I don't really have a whole lot of DC stuff. So he hooked me up. And yeah, this building's looking fantastic. I am hoping, like I say, to get another one, not quite as big, but another one of their flats to put over here. And then have a road come up here to join the front of the layout. And now we get to the really good stuff, what this video is really about. As you can see, we finally have a completed, or mostly completed, scene here on the new layout. And I'm super stoked with this, real happy with how it's turned out. It's pretty much exactly how I haven't been envisioning it. I think this looks a whole hell of a lot better than just a paper backdrop. What do you guys think? Now, I know it does look a little goofy right now. It looks kind of like a scene floating above the layout more than a scene to the layout. But like I said in the last video, once we build the base or the rest of these mountains going up and it all ties together, yeah, this is going to come out fantastic, I do believe. Picking up from where we left off in our last update video, the last time we saw these mountains, they were just the painted bare skeleton or framework of the mountains. Let's go over real quick what we've got into these. Starting out, you might notice the dirt we're using is quite a bit darker than what we've used in the past. And I think it looks really good. What we're actually using is genuine land from the good old free state of Florida. That's right. This is real dirt from out back behind my garage out back. I dug up a 5-gallon bucket. I picked up some cheap strainers and sifters and sifted through all the dirt. Wasn't the most fun thing to do on a weekday night, but hey, it paid off. We got a big pail of it here. Once I got it all sifted, I put a couple pans worth in the oven and let it sit in there in low heat for a few hours. That was to get this all dried out and get any bugs or living organisms in the dirt dead. That way we weren't bringing anything here into the train room. And yeah, it was ready to go right out of there. Now, since we've painted everything, I didn't go super crazy with the dirt. I only applied the dirt to the outer edge where we were going to see it here along the mountains and here in the parking lot between the buildings and whatnot. Like I say, we painted everything else, so there was no need to waste all this dirt and cover everything in it. Now, you will see, obviously, I didn't bring the dirt all the way up to the outside edge. We still got to build the mountain out here. We still got a bunch of glue and plaster cloth and whatnot to apply here. After that's applied and painted, we'll continue with adding the dirt to our road right here. Next up was the ground cover, and this is kind of our secret sauce of the layout, if you will. I'm really loving this stuff. I learned of this stuff from our buddy Matt, who we paid a visit to in our last video. This is the base material that he uses on his layout. And yeah, once I saw it, I had to get me some. I absolutely love it. But this is stuff that comes from Scenic Express. It's their Adirondack Green Blend. And as you can see, I got a 5-gallon pail of it. There's the part number if you're interested. But this is an awesome blend of different colored foam materials, static grass, twigs, and branches. This stuff really pulls off the forest look quite well. I can't say enough good about it. I absolutely love it. Now, for applying this stuff, as well as the dirt, I'm doing it in the exact same manner we've done everything in the past. I'm using basic white school glue on the base of everything, and then I stick either the dirt or the ground cover to that. And then once that's done, I go over top of it with Woodland Scenic cement in a spray bottle to glue everything into place. And yeah, this works out quite well. As we saw, it works very, very good when we tore down the last layout. It's strong enough to hold everything in place and keep it where it needs to be. But yet it's not like super glue when it's time to tear the layout up. This stuff comes up fairly easily. Now for the trees, I hit up my man Roman over at Trident Customs. I did a video on his trees a little while back, and I'll leave a link in the description below to that video if interested. But yeah, I hit Roman up, told him I was looking to place a decent order for trees and what I was looking to spend, and within a week and a half, I had a big old box of trees ready to go. Can't say enough good things about his trees. This is the perfect use for them, in my personal opinion. Doing a big area like this with a bunch of trees really helps you save a ton of money versus going through Scenic Express and other companies, so on and so forth. Now, along with his, while the vast majority of these trees are his, you'll see we do have a couple others mixed in, mainly Grand Central gems. I had a brand new 5 or 7 pack of small trees that I had yet to use. It's up here. And I've also got some of their other pines and redwoods, so on and so forth. But yeah, it really gives a nice look, I do believe. I will say it was a bit of a bear trying to get these trees up here on these hills, especially this one. You can see it's pretty steep. We kind of got a naked or bare spot right here. That's because it's just so steep. It's hard to get these trees in. I've got some old ones that we took down from this layout. I got to go digging through my boxes, see if we have more with a longer trunk or base, because those work out better on these steep hills. When using these other pines, you got to either cut or bend out the base. That way the tree ain't flapping all over the place. Now, we already saw the buildings and most of the structures that were going up in this area. But as you can see, we got them all wired up, hooked up, and they're now live and operational. And we got the areas all detailed out around them. Got some people, some cars, a couple dogs chasing a cat on the dumpster back there. We do have some deer placed here and there throughout the scene. I do want to add more wildlife, get some birds, and maybe even get a Bigfoot like everybody does. Like I mentioned in the past video, this front edge, and just previously as well, this edge is going to be like our mountain dirt road going through the mountains here. These cars are just temporarily placed there to give you an idea. They got to come back down. None of them are set in stone yet. One really nice touch, our Miller Engineering sign. I finally got a wall wart for it. No more battery powered like it has been for the last couple of years. Super, super nice touch. Now whenever the layout's on, this comes on. No longer have to remember to turn this off or kill the batteries whenever I do turn it on. We really didn't run it a whole lot because of those batteries, because I would turn it on and then I'd completely forget about it. Next day, discover it was dead, or whenever I did discover it. Some of the last finer details we added, as you can see, we got some street lights or light poles placed for our country road. I had to pick up some new sets of these. I ended up destroying our old ones when tearing down the old layout. Luckily, these aren't too expensive. But along with those, I also went and dug out some rocks from the yard and the driveway, and we got some boulders placed along the base of the mountaintops, as you can see. Figured these would be leftover rocks and whatnot from what they dug out for making the road and building these structures, so on and so forth. And whatever might have rolled down the hill, who knows? I thought it added just a nice little touch. Now we do have one more wire down here. This is live. This will be for one more operating or lit accessory that's going to go in this area. But yeah, this is pretty much going to be it. This is it structure-wise up top. That's what I was saying before, I feel like these are nice and tastefully placed. I just don't want to clutter the front of the layout with a bunch of buildings and ruin how this looks, if that makes any sense. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. You think of anything we should add to the mountain scene up here? Anything that might look good or go good with it? I do appreciate all your guys' input. In one of the last videos or posts, somebody mentioned maybe we should put some of them, what are they, K-Line easy streets for the country road and have automated cars going back and forth. That would be really neat. But you know, I already got a ton of these cars to reuse that are left over from the previous layout, and I want to get them up here. That's kind of the beauty of tearing down an old layout and building a new one. We have a good plethora of stuff to reuse. It's just finding a good spot to put it. And rather than having to go out and spend money and buy new things, we can reutilize what we already have. So that's kind of what I'm trying to go for. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Hopefully we'll have another update video coming soon. I'm really looking forward to getting this elevated line in place and building the rest of the mountain. I've just been having a lot of fun building this new layout. It's always a blast with O-gauge trains, isn't it? But I do hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe got something out of it or picked something up that you liked out of it. Who knows? But I hope you did. As always, guys, until next time, my name is Zach, and this is Country Bunkers Trains. Y'all take care. I'll see you the next go-around.